Howdy folks, welcome back to my channel. I've been doing a bunch of videos lately, so this will be another one. Another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition, Days of Decision 3, Combined Game Playthrough number 2. This turn will be the November-December turn, 1939. And the last turn was a doozy. We saw Paris fall. So I don't know what's going to happen with France. I would assume it's probably going to be Vichy this turn, but can't tell. The political phase, well, we'll just see what happens in the political phase. Other than that, 1940, we have a number of major powers that can gear up. So some major powers are going to be looking to set themselves up for that this turn. And I don't think there's anything else I need to discuss right now on that. Yeah, okay, so not going to go over U.S. entry this turn because it's still not quite close enough to really bother with. There really isn't anything that the U.S. can do as far as U.S. entry goes. Yeah, okay, so let's go check out starting money and we'll get this turn started. Okay, starting money for this turn is looking something like this. We have Germany at 1, Japan at -3, Italy at -3, the Soviet Union at 1, the Commonwealth at -2, the USA at -3, China at 0, and France is at -5. Now, I've taken a look and done some research about what I think each major power will select for, if or not they even want to do a political option. And what I've come up with is the French didn't get to do a political option last turn, so they're going to get bonus bid points, so they will bid. They still owe for a DoW and a aligned minor. So they're going to bid 1 point, and they're going to bid for 2 options. The Germans also are going to bid. They're going to bid 2 points, and they're going to bid for 2 options. Japan's bidding 1, and the USA is bidding 1. Now let's go take a look and see how this pans out on the initiative track. Okay, so we got France, who is in the 4th place position from last turn. They're going to get a +2 for that. They bid 1, that's 3. And they're going to get bonus bid points for not getting a political option last turn of their political effectiveness, which is 4. So that's a total of 7. Divided by 2 is 3.5. That's enough to get them first. The Germans are bidding 2. They're going to get 3 for their 2nd place finish. For a total of 5, they're bidding for 2 options, so divide by 2, that's 2.5. That's good enough to get them 2nd place. The Japanese, they're bidding 1. They get +1 for their 6th place position. For a total of 2, the US is also bidding 1. They're going to get +1 for their 7th place position. For a total of 2, that's a tie. The Japanese political effectiveness is a 4. The US is a 2, so the Japanese break that tie. They will be 3rd. The U.S. will be 4th. And now for the non-bidding major powers, we have the Commonwealth at +4. That'll get them 5th. The Soviets are at +3. That'll get them 6th. The Italians are at +2. That'll get them 7th. And the Chinese will be last at 8th. So the first card is on France. The first last card is on France. And the last card is on the U.S. Okay, the French are up first. I don't really even need to bother to show you this because they're going to pay for they're going to select declaration of war. I've already put out the U.S. entry and all the minor effects. There's no activating a minor. That's going to be their first political option, and they owe a aligned minor, so they're going to select that for their 2nd political option. That, however, does allow for activation of a minor. So we're going to go, and I already put all the minor effects out in the U.S. entry. I do that when they reactively do those things. So I'm going to go take a look and see what miners the French may want to activate. After looking around and see what we got, I think the French are going to activate Yugoslavia. I think they can get it maybe one spot closer to the Democrat ideology, and that would be just fine for the Democrats. So let's grab the markers, head over to the status display, and see how this works out. Okay, we'll put the markers up here. We got a Soviet -1. We got a Commonwealth 2. We got a German 3. We got an Italian -2. And we got a French 3. So, let's see, the Soviet 1's not going to do anything. So we get rid of that. Now the Italian -2. Now I got to remember that Yugoslavia has a treaty with both, or has an alliance with both the Soviet Union and France. So if I move the marker, it can't be further distance from either of these two. Otherwise, it's going to suffer a +1 penalty to enter the hex. So if I move it from here to here, it's closer to France, but 5, and that will work just like that. So that's that one. Then we got a Commonwealth 2. To move closer to the Commonwealth is going to cost 2 for the hex, and unfortunately it's going to cost 1 to move away from the Soviet Union, so the Commonwealth 2 is not going to do anything. Now we got a French 3. It will cost 2 for this hex, but we'll be moving away from the Soviet Union again, so it's going to cost 3 because they have an alliance. So it costs +1 to move away from a major power you have an alliance with. So that will take all 3 French. Now, the German marker is a 3-pointer, so it's going to cost 3 points for this hex. We're moving away from the French, so it's going to cost 3 points. So we'll put the Yugoslav marker right there, and I think the French are kind of happy with that. They've gotten Yugoslavia much closer to the Democrat ideology, and that's a good thing as far as they're concerned. They would love to get them stacked with the Commonwealth and be able to align them at some point in the future. Okay, so last thing we got to do is roll a die to see if the French end the political fade. Okay, I went and got my dice. So we've had one previous political option played, which is a -1. However, there are 4 to 6 major powers at war. That's a +1, so it's going to be straight up 1. A 9 does not do it. So we will move down to Germany. And let's go see what they want to do. Excuse me. Okay. Germany is going to play French option 5, surrender, forcing Vichy France. This is optional rule 8.7.2, FR 5.1. It allows the controlling major power of Paris to force the French to Vichy. And it's a rule I play with because to me it doesn't make much sense. Some gamers will just keep playing France until they'll fight until every last single counter of theirs is dead. From the Commonwealth and France's perspective, the Commonwealth would rather have a lot of these colonies tied up with Vichy rather than have the Italians or Germans get a hold of them. So they're kind of okay with having France go Vichy. Okay, so what this does is it means I have to set up a Vichy. It's also going to be a -8 for U.S. entry, which will do a lot. And I have to go through the Vichy rules in the World in Flames booklet. The Days of Decision booklet specifies that you supersede the Days of Decision rules with the World in Flame rules when it concerns France. So I'm going to do that, and I got to put out a whole bunch of markers, and And I think that's it. I just come back. When I come back, Germany will get to activate a minor. No, they don't activate a minor when they're... You may not. Okay, so there will be no activation of a minor. I'll come back. Germany roll to see if they end the political phase. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I finished up the Vichy Free French allocation, the adjustment of force pools, the elimination of markers on tracks, all that stuff. That's all done according to the World in Flames rules booklet. Specifies that in the days of decision to whatever says World in Flames overrides whatever's in days of decision in the case of France only. So let's go and show you what happened. So what was left of the French army, basically, there it is. Became Vichy. There's a few Vichy units sitting out here in Africa. North Africa ended up being Vichy, as well as Northwest Africa, and unusually for this game, French Equatorial Africa also went Vichy. However, Syria is Free French. That's the third game I've had Syria go Free French that I've played. 2 playthroughs and a face-to-face, and every game the Syria has gone Free French. I use these little rondelles. They're from Axis and Allies, so that's how I keep track of it. Madagascar went Free French, as well as Belgian Congo. That went Free French. French Indochina is Vichy, and New Caledonia is Free French. And I think that's about it. Oh, all the Pacific map minors and territories. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Marquis Islands and French Polynesia also went Vichy. So that's about that. And so I think we're at the point where Germany does not activate a minor in this case. So I think they just have to roll to see if they end the political phase. So we'll go back over here to the status display. We'll roll a die and see if they end the political phase. Now there's been two previous political options played, which is a -2 +1 for the number of countries at war. 5 does not end the political phase, so we will move on to the second political option for Germany. For her second political option, Germany is going to select Create the Waffen-SS. The prerequisite is Germany's production multiple is 3/4 or higher, and she meets that. The cost is 6 money. There's some minor effects. The U.S. entry is a +5. I'm going to add all available SS units to Germany's force pools immediately. All future SS units will be added normally. So I will do that, and I will put out the minor markers, and then we will come back and activate a minor. Okay, so Germany activated Bulgaria, which had a -3 in it. And that basically moved the Bulgarian marker 1 hex from here to here. Now it's time for Germany to see if they end the political phase. A 7. 7 does not do it. So now we move the political marker down to Japan, and let's go see what the Japanese want to do. Okay, Japan's up, and they're going to play their option. 6 minus 3 is 3. That does not end the political phase. We will move on to the U.S. The U.S. has decided that they're going to make a minor economic agreement with Brazil to get one of their resources. To get their only resource. That will put a 1 U.S. marker there. And now the U.S. gets to activate a minor. Let's see. U.S., like Italy, Japan, and China, are somewhat limited. I gotta check this out. I think the U.S. is going to activate Brazil. After all, that's where we got the resource from. So I will grab the markers. See what we got. Well, we got 2 for the U.S. There's 2 1s here. We got a -2 for Japan, a +2 for the Commonwealth, and a -2 for the French. So let's see how this works out. Brazil's willpower is a 4, so the U.S. could do this because they're in position 4. Okay, so I think we'll do the -2 French. I think this is going to work out too. That's a -2. I think this is going to work out in the favor. -2 for the French. Then we're going to do -2 for the Japanese. Pushes it back here. +2 for the Commonwealth. Pushes it here. And shoot. The U.S. doesn't quite have enough points to get Brazil within their ideology, but that's okay. Brazil is much closer now, and that's okay with the U.S. So that will end the political phase. Everybody actually got a political option. Now it's time for initiative. We'll come over here, we'll roll the initiative. Let's see what we get. Oh, let's see. I think I forgot one thing with the Vichy surrender. The power to whom the major power Vichy surrendered to, their PE increases 1, and the surrendering major power, their PE decreases 1. So now the Germans are up to an 8. All right, let's do initiative. Let's see, so it's red, the communists, blue are the Democrats, and white is the fascists. Well, that's a pretty cool roll. Let's see, the communists want to go last. So they're going to go last. The fascists have a 5, the Democrats have a 3. So the fascists are looking, it really doesn't matter too much. I mean, they don't really, it's not really that important. Don't think I can get an attack on those. I don't think there's enough. Okay, so the fascists will go second, and the Democrats are going to end up being forced to go first. Of course, the weather roll now. Let me go grab the chart. Okay, for the November-December turn, the weather is going to be absolutely terrible. 9. 9 is blizzard in the, where we got my blizzard markers? Blizzard in the Arctic, snow in North Temperate, storm in the Mediterranean, fair in North Monsoon, storm in South Monsoon, and fair in South Temperate. And the weather roll for next turn has a +2, and the impulse marker moves up 3. So we're going to go take a look at reinforcements, and then I'm probably going to break and just start running through the impulses. If I might stop if Japan can manage an attack in the North Monsoon zone. I don't know. I think she's out of position right now. She's probably going to have to spend some time moving units around. But let's go take a look at reinforcements and see what we got. A 9. 9 for weather. Yeah, the French probably wish they had that die roll last month. Alright, so let's see what we have here. We have 2 militia for the Commonwealth. That is London and Glasgow, so those will both go in Great Britain. We have a pilot for the U.S., 2 pilots for the U.S. and 1 for the Commonwealth. We have a infantry army for the Chinese, as well as I think this is a mountain corps for the Communists. The Chinese are continuing to build up. It's making it harder and harder for the Japanese. We have an infantry army for the Soviets going on the map. We have a transport going in the construction pool for Italy. We have an amphibious unit going in the construction pool for Italy. We also have a light cruiser going in the construction pool for Italy. We have the Texas coming on that for the U.S. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 light cruisers for the Commonwealth coming on the map. And we have 3 more going in the construction pool. We have a amphibious unit for Japan going on the map. We have a amphibious corps, Special Naval Landing Forces Corps for the Japanese going on the map. We also have a headquarters, Terauchi, going on the map. We have a militia, the Hiroshima Militia, going on the map for the Japanese. We have an infantry corps for Germany. We have a fighter and a bomber for Germany, a pretty good Stuka, and actually a pretty good single-engine fighter. What is that? BF 109E3. That's a pretty good one. The Germans will use 2 pilots. We also have 2 militia going on map for the Germans. And that's it. I'll get these guys on the map and I'll start running through the turn. And then if I find something to break with an attack or something interesting comes up, I'll stop and I'll record at that point. Other than that, if the weather's going to stay like this, then I'll probably be back with the U.S. entry roll, the partisan roll, and then production. Okay, we do have something finally happening. This is the 13th impulse, and it's the fascist impulse. The weather is horrendous still, blizzard. It's the same as last turn, basically. Last set of impulses. Oh, this is blizzard in Arctic, snow in North Temperate. It is, however, clear in North Monsoon. So Japan is going to take a combined, which gives them 2 naval moves. They don't need 2. They're only going to take 1, which is this big stack right here in Japan. You can't see that. So it's this big stack right here in Japan. That's these guys. They're going to sail down to the South China Sea. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to land these 2 guys at Hainan. Now this is an amphibious assault. They're both from amphibious units, so they're full strength. The notional strength of that unit is going to be, according to the notional chart, it's going to be 1 for unmodified combat factor. That's 1. That's not a city hex. It is defending in the home country hex, so that's 2. It's not stacked with any land units nor adjacent to any of them. The shore bombardment modifier for the 2 box is a +1, so that's 3. However, it cannot trace a basic supply path of any length because the Straits hex side gets cut by the presence of Japanese naval units. So that's 2. It's not surprised. So it has a basic strength of 2. Now Japan has 10 factors. And she's got 2 battleships with 3 each, so that's 16. And she's got 2 tactical air factors from carriers in the task force here. I can't really see that. I got 2 tactical factors from these air here and here. There's 3 tactical factors. That brings it up to 19. 19 to 2. That's 9 to 1. $19 to 2, which would be 7 to 1 on the assault table. And because the notional unit is flipped over, it's going to be a +1. So we'll roll the die. Anything but a 1 or a 2 or a 3 is great for Japan. A 1 will flip both units over. A 2 or a 3 will flip 1 unit over. But the notional unit is dead regardless. So let's see what they get for a roll. A 4, which is a 5, is star 2S. The notional unit is toast. And Hainan will fall. Neither of these units is flipped over, which is great for Japan. They love that. Let's see. So these guys are going to be flipped over. All right, so I'll take care of the little bit of bookkeeping we got here. Those are going to be flipped over. The 2 battleships are going to be flipped over. All that stuff's going to go home anyways. At the end of the turn. So that concludes. Japan has 1 more. I believe they have 1 more land move, which I will do. And then we will go to, I've done the Germans already, which they're just basically moving across the continent at this point and trying to garrison France. And the British did evacuate from France. They won the initiative, so they were able to pick up the units in France and debark them back into England. Okay, so I wanted to show you probably the only combat for this entire turn. Yep. Okay, I'll break here, and if I don't have another combat, I will probably pick up with the die rolls for the U.S. entry and the partisans. Okay, we're at partisans. So we get for roll a 10. Norway, Austria, Finland, France, Yugoslavia, Canada, Africa, USA, USSR. So 1 in Africa. Well, South Africa, I guess. Well, a roll of 7 doesn't quite do it. We need a low roll to get a partisan in South Africa. Should kind of screw the British a little bit, but that's okay. They deserve it. All right, now we got U.S. entry. We got Japan. Let's see, this is the, so that's going to be a total of 37, 38. Yeah, okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, that's a really bad roll. I just smashed all the counters. Oh well, there we go. All right, so 1. We are 2 years into the war. Yes, 2 years into the war, so that's a +2. And a -1 for JA6 is a +1, and a +1 for other MPs at war. So that being a +2, so 1 + 2 is 3. That's a -1. Now Germany. Germany's a 4. 4 has not been a year at war yet, and +1 for other MPs at war with a Democrat, which is Japan, so that's a 5, and 5 is 0. So we have a -1 for Japan and a 0 for Germany. Okay, let's go take a look at what the major powers built this turn, which wasn't a whole lot. All right. First, let's see, Germany. Germany had a production of 21 after saving 3 oil. She started with 14 and she spent 11. Brought a raider out of the construction pool, a sub out of the construction pool, built a pilot, built a light cruiser, and built a 88mm anti-tank, anti-aircraft unit. Japan produced 12. I think they saved in oil. Started with 0 and spent 4. 2 light carriers out of the construction pool and the Fuso out of the repair pool. Italy produced 7. Started with 4, spent 9. A Marine Corps and an amphibious unit that came out of the construction pool. The Soviet Union produced 7, started with 8, spent 4. 2 garrison units. The Commonwealth produced 11, started with 9, and spent 9. A militia, 2 convoy points, a coastal fort, and 2 territorials. The US of A produced 9, started with 6, and spent 7. Pilot, a transport for its first cycle, a combat air group, and a garrison unit. China produced 5, started with 5, and spent 5. A Cav Corps and an infantry army. Okay. Oh, Free France has no production. They have no factories, so they have no production. Vichy France's production is 1. And the only thing they can spend points on is naval units. So I'll probably just keep track of what they're producing, and if I think they need to build a naval unit, I will. If not, they probably will never build anything because they're prohibited from building land or air units. Okay, so that'll wrap up this turn. Next turn is the January-February 1940 turn. I got to get the Force Pool editions into the cups. And 1940 should be a pretty interesting year. I think comparing this game to my last game, I think the Germans are a little bit weaker. The Commonwealth might be actually a little bit stronger. The Soviets look like they're stronger. Yeah, I don't know about the Italians. They're always weak. And the Japanese definitely are not doing as well as they did in the last game. So it should be pretty interesting. Looks like it's going to be a touch and go game. But we'll see what happens next year. And probably won't get another video done until next weekend or so. Sometime first weekend of December. Okay, so that'll wrap up this turn. Hey, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Share if you can. I appreciate everything. And see you next time.